like drawing, so maybe you can do something in those kind of fields where you're sketching and being creative. Well, I get to be creative. It's more than just plugging on a computer and writing a code. It's more than just solving equations. I solve very few equations, to be honest. And actually, math is not my strong suit. But we do those kinds of things, but it's much more than that. It's solving problems. It's being creative in how you solve those problems. It's trying to fit your little discipline onto an airplane. An airplane is a compromise of all these things. The guy who's in charge of mass wants it to weigh as little as possible. The guy who wants it to be invisible to radar is going to put all this stuff on it that makes it super heavy. And then the guy who wants it to loiter around for 48 hours is just trying to put all kinds of fuel in it, which that makes it heavy too, and I'm trying to get my stuff on it. And everybody else is trying to get their stuff on it. Soon you end up with this thing that can never fly and just put 1,000 engines in. So the program manager's job is to make sure that doesn't happen. And I've only been working for about 6 years, and I'm in charge of a couple projects, but nothing quite that big. That's really all I can share. I just want to say that engineering teaches you how to think. If you take all these classes in engineering and you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, you're going to be pretty well equipped to do anything else. You're going to have your math skills, you're going to have your physics, you're going to have your chemistry. All those things are baseline for most engineering degrees. If you wanted to switch and you want to go back to veterinary medicine, believe me, I've thought about it a couple times. You can do it. You learn how to think. You learn how to think critically and logically, solve problems. And like I said, you get to be creative still. So don't think that it's all hardcore math. There's nothing wrong with math. Don't get me wrong. But math is part of the key that gets you to the solutions. Obviously, you can't do engineering without taking math classes. If you wanted to go and do something completely unrelated, that seems completely unrelated, business, you're going to be the most critical thinker in some of those business classes that you decide to take later on. So I encourage you to take engineering classes if you're at all interested in solving problems, in being creative, in getting involved in the secret world of government programs, all those kinds of things. I think I'll open up for questions now.
So does being engineering, does that usually require you to have an advanced degree? You can't just be an engineer with a bachelor's degree?
No, actually, most of our engineers, younger engineers now hire in with a bachelor's degree. They've taken their 4 years of mechanic. We have a lot of mechanicals. We have a lot of electrical engineers. We have some computer scientists. We have some physics majors. We have chemical engineers. Airplanes got fuel. You gotta have a chemical engineer for that. We have a lot of those, and then what people decide is, I know some stuff, I can do my job, I would like to get better at my job. And the company will pay for a large portion of returning to grad school or going to get a PhD. I don't think it's in the cards for me to get my PhD, I'm just too busy right now. But if they force me, I guess. That's true, yeah. Some people will go back for their MBAs after getting their engineering degrees. And I think they have a pretty easy job of it once they've gone through their engineering classes. Sure.
What's the male-female ratio in engineering?
You know, it used to, it's a good question. It's a good question. It used to be very heavily male-dominated. And there's a big gap in how I work right now. I'd say there's nobody in the mid-30s to mid-40s group. There's people older than that, there's people younger than that. And people older than that, the male-to-female ratio is very high. In the younger classes, though, or hiring groups, let's say, the ratio is almost 50-50 now. The company does a very good job of trying to balance it out. And there's just as many qualified female engineers as male engineers, so all it is looking for the best candidate for the job. I hope not. I hope females aren't turned off to physical sciences and engineering anymore. I think that's true. I was seeing more and more girls in my engineering classes when I was going through, and I think it's progressively becoming more balanced.
So you were in the mechanical engineering degree?
My bachelor's is in mechanical engineering, that's right.
Yeah, so what do you have to say about getting an aerospace degree right out of college? I mean, is that too specialized?
No, I don't think so. If you know that that's what you want to do, definitely go for it. You're still going to go through the same basic classes, the math classes. You have to take those, of course. You can't do it without it. Physics, chemistry, and then you're going to have electives too. Some of my more interesting. I took an entomology class my first year, which is basically bugs. It was an interesting class, and I kind of thought about it in the mechanical engineering world. There are certain things that insects do very, very well that we can replicate in the mechanical world. So if anything strikes your fancy, I recommend taking it this first 2 years, because the next 2 years are going to be more focused on your economics. No, I have nothing bad to say about doing AE straight out of high school. I didn't end up at a school with an AE program, which is part of the reason I did ME. I might have done AE straight out of high school if I had that opportunity. But I was already enrolled in school, and I had to make a snap judgment on what I was going to do next. I did AE after ME. I was missing some of the aeronautics background that I kind of wish I had, but I got through. And like I said, if you learn how to think your first 4 years, you'll be okay. You might take a little extra work your first couple of classes going into your master's. If you switch like that from ME to AE or vice versa, you'll be okay. Yes?
On that note, about learning how to think in your first 4 years, how important was it to know how to think before you actually got to school?
I had a school that was very strong in language.
Did you have a high school?
Yes. So high school had school was very strong in language, history, and let's just call it sociology. And mathematics, I was able to take some college classes when I was there. Physics, a little bit, chemistry a little bit, but it wasn't what the school was known for in the area. So I was a little behind the 8 ball when I got there, and I had to do a little catching up. So I wish I had actually hit the books a little harder in my calculus classes, because I had Calc 1 and I had Calc 1 as a senior. I was supposed to take Calc 2 when I hit college, but somehow they let me test out of it, and I got Calc 3, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so it was very, very difficult. I wish I had done more in Calc 1 in high school, and focused a little harder there. Like I said, my math skills, part of the reason I don't enjoy mathematics right now as much as I wish I did, is because I had skipped all that Calc 2 stuff, and I had not paid as much attention my senior year as I probably should have.
Well, that was the bell ending our second year.
Sure.
Yeah, we have